Good morning, PMJ here. I just wanted to come live and thank the Minister of Interior, Maifati, for taking those steps to fire the IGP, because we are definitely tired of the games, like I said, the Jammeh era of politics, governance, and we need change. I am grateful that we had a fruitful exchange behind the scenes, and I want to thank him for taking the abrupt steps. This is the step in the right direction, and now I'm calling on the courts to drop all the charges for Babakar C. We do not have time for these games. The young man has to make a living. The young man has family and has responsibilities, and it's time to go after the big fishes, because that's what we voted for. We want the government to hold the people, the top, accountable. We do not want them to hobnob with the rich. We do not want them to cater to those who broke the law before. We just want them to hold these people accountable, because they were the big dogs. They were the ones who were making the decisions. So again, I just want to make a quick video and thank the minister for taking such swift actions. I am of the firm belief, or the school of thought, that ministers don't have to be ceremonial, or ministers don't have to be they could be politically appointed, but they should come to the table with ideas. They should come to the table with how they want their departments to be governed. We are sick and tired of the colonial era. President Barrow, if you are listening to me again, I am appealing to you to make sure as soon as possible you appoint a vice president. I have been mute about this issue to give you an opportunity and chance, because you have a lot on your plate. But at this point in time, we, the citizens of the Gambia, are saying or calling upon you to make this decision as soon as possible. We do not have time to cater to one person or to tailor-made it for one individual. For the life of me, I don't even understand why every time we say VP, automatically the mind goes to a woman. What we are telling the people is women are just well suited for the vice presidency. For God's sake, this is the thought process of Yahya Jammeh. We do not have to come to these kind of ill will or backward thinking. Women can be presidents too. So I don't understand why every time we say VP, all minds go to a woman. Is it because it's attached to the Constitution that is a VP with women's affairs? Well, if you can separate the women's affairs from the VP, it could be any candidate. It could be anybody. And besides, we are in a very dire straits right now. We have so many security concerns. And you know what, President Barrow? You have tainted your legacy. For these couple of months, 5 months, a day would come when you would have to sit down and answer this question. And this question is going to go as this. Why didn't you appoint a vice president during the perilous times of the country? Why didn't you appoint a vice president? And we would wait for that answer. There is no answer, sir. It's just simple. Name a person and let's vet the person and approve them. It's not like you do have a National Assembly that would go against your picks or PMO or whoever. No. So let's get to the business of governing. We put you in office for you to show us your vision, your direction. That's what we put you in office for. But not to continue the misguided visions of Yahya Jammeh. We want a new, you call for a blueprint. I understand that. Probably you're working on it. I understand that. The MOU is there for a start. At this point, I am telling you and your cabinet members, so long as we have that toilet paper of a constitution, yes, I'm going to call it that. So long as we have that, you are not going to be able to govern. because it would hamstring you. There are so many laws that are tailor-made for the dictator. That's why we came from a dictatorial regime. But in order for you to have rule of law, democracy, it's like two freight trains that are running against one another. On the other hand, you have to have rule of law. The applicability of rule of law states that whatever you find there in the books as law, you have to apply it. But on the other hand, these are unjust laws. So you have a conundrum here. Do you apply them or do you change them? And to me, this should have been your number one priority. This should have been your number one. The January 19th, you should have tasked the Supreme Court. I know you probably didn't have the time to pick a Supreme Court justice and all that. But the Bar Association, for God's sake, what are they doing? They're there to be in liaise with the Justice Department so we can have a new constitution. I know they have called for a committee. But without a new constitution, we would not have a direction. And if you think that these Jammeh elements are done with you, you are making a mistake. Because it starts from the Secretary General, then it goes down to all the civil servants in there. For 22 years, these are the kind of laws, these are the ways they govern. This is how they know how to govern. So for you to come and try to change that overnight is going to be some sort of inconvenience for them. So basically what they are going to do is they're going to act upon the laws. And when you chastise them or you go against them, they're going to say, well, that's illegal firing because they apply the law. That's what they're going to say. They apply the law and you fired them. That's illegal. So in order to be free, in order for you to govern the way you have to govern, you have to bring like-minded folks around you. For God's sake, I would have expected the first day you took office and you had your cabinet meeting, you task all the ministers, after you have already appointed all of them, you task all the ministers to give you a blueprint within 60 days about how they want to govern or how they want to oversee their departments. See what works for their department, what doesn't work, throw out the things that doesn't work, and come up with a vision. But everywhere I go, in terms of Gambia, whoever I speak to, they say, well, PMJ, you lost. You've been in America for so long, blah, blah, blah. You know, here, this is how we do it. No, we do not have to do it the way the colonial masters did it. We do not have to do it the way Jammeh did it or President Jawara did it. This is our time. We want something different. I am from the philosophy where I do not care about Pan-Africanism. Sorry. I do not care about that. And if the definition of Pan-Africanism is the Jammeh way of exploiting us, telling us the West is the problem, but again, they hide all their bank accounts and money in the West. No, I am from the school of thought where we have to assimilate with the West. We have to trade with them. We do not have to be scared of them. We have amassed equal wealth and equal knowledge to sit with anybody and negotiate with them. I don't understand why we are scared of going to the international community and sit with them and make proper deals for Africa. We have so many intellectuals. We have written so many books. But the problem is us. We are inferior. Every time we take government, we do not look at it from a holistic point of view. We always want to look at what America is doing. Well, sometimes whatever works for America doesn't work for Gambia. But has any one of you guys sat down and rethink about, well, guess what? We do not need 21 ministers. Where have you ever seen a country where it's about 1.9 million people and you have 21 ministries? What for? And on the other end, you complain about your government spending too much money. I'm telling you, 5 ministries is just enough. And Minister of Information should be liaising with all the departments. There should have been some sort of a federal system or a government system within the computers that would create an email system or some sort of a communication system, fax system, telephone system, whatever, to liaise with all the departments. Let's say there was a deal that was closed under Ports Authority, and then it affects tourism. Immediately Ports Authority closed the deal. They would take that information and send it to the Minister of Tourism. Minister of Tourism would look at the deal, evaluate it and see where they fit in, and then they would go out and talk to the Gambian people. Let's say that it was about the ferry that we just had. Well, Post Authority or whoever is responsible for it, once they have that, the tourism minister will look at it and say, well, based on what we have right now, this ferry will bring income on this level. Then the justice minister or whoever that makes laws or interior that's responsible for safety will look at it and analyze it and say, well, these are the safety precautions we have looked into this ferry and this is how it's going to benefit you. Every department is going to look at one single issue about that ferry and have an input in it. But no, we are not creative. We're not creative. Every single time we're thinking inside the box, not outside the box. Every single time it's the same rules, it's the same laws. We have the same alcalos, we have the same commissioners, we have the same governors. What for? I mean, when it comes to local government, all you have to do is just create some sort of a system where they have a simple mayor or a leader somewhere and just report to that person. I don't understand why we're still here. We do not have a government reform. 21 ministries, really? I mean, we can do better. President Barrow, I don't know who's advising you, but let me tell you where the heart of Gambia is. In terms of intellectualism, in terms of energy, and in terms of the future. It's in social media. If I were you, you know what you should do? Inside your state house, I don't care even if you have a budget for that or not. But you should have at least about 10 TVs that would tune in internationally, right? You have CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, all these things. Because you know why? I want you to know what's going on around the world. I want you to have access to New York Times. I want you to have access to all these international mediums. So you would be aware, have ideas when you watch something or you read something, you would have ideas on how to govern. And I want you also to create a social media team. I've already told you this before. A social media team. I don't know if it's going to be under your office or it's going to be under the Minister of Information office, wherein they can look into Gambians' timelines. When I say look, I'm not talking about spying them, just like Jammeh used to do with the SIS. Because when you look around Gambian timelines, I'm talking about the serious ones, the ones that are serious about governing and they know policy. They write things with so many ideas in it. So many ideas in it. And I would hate to see it pass by, because the way social media is designed, especially Facebook, excuse me here, especially Facebook, is that when someone writes something on a status, it would dissipate, it would go away within a month, and people will forget it. So if you have a team that would scour around and check the statuses, and if an idea pops out, they withdraw it, put it in what we call an idea bank, and look at it, send it to the right teams, let them evaluate it. Gambians can speak French, Gambians can speak German, Gambians can speak Swedish, Gambians can speak English, Gambians even can speak Mandarin. For God's sake, if we have all these talents, why is it that you guys are afraid of the diaspora? Why? Someone is doing a disservice to you, President Barrow. Because you know why? They have bought into that Jammeh lie about the diaspora, especially after the December 30th event. After the December 30th event, every time you set foot in that country, they think like you coming to take over their jobs because of such insecurities that they're not even willing to listen to you. Let me make it categorically clear on my part, IPMG, I have no interest in any government jobs, none whatsoever. My dad served that country well, and I know what he gained out of that. So I have no interest in that. All I care about is how to move forward with that country. But we are tired of the shenanigans. We are tired of the ineptitude. We are tired of the incompetencies. Even some of these people, it's not like I am trying to chastise them or whatever. Some of them even need to go and learn how to speak publicly. Their oratorial skills are abysmal.
horrible for a leader. Sometimes when they speak, it appears as if it doesn't have even any air, no sense in it, even as they read from a paper. Some of these things has to be taught from an early age. You should not fear public speaking. When you know your stuff, you should be able to articulate it. And when people understand what you're talking about, they buy into a vision. I do not purport to know everything, but the little that I know that when applied in that country, it would change that country. We are 1.9 million people, for God's sake. We're not too hard to develop. We're not too hard to develop. But it's time to get to the business of the future. The future is social media. Look at it. After I made that video, I had an interaction with the minister. I'm not saying what I said or what I did had something to do with the IGP being fired. But guess what? We had a cordial, respectful dialogue between me and the minister, and he was accessible, and I thank him for that. And guess what? The IGP is no more. That is what we want. Every minister must have a social media account. I don't understand what you guys are running away from. Communicate with the Gambian people. That's what we want you guys to do. Even the National Assembly members too. You guys should have a social media account and have access to Gambians. I don't understand why all this mute going on with these people. As if you're not accountable to everybody. You are accountable to everybody. And we are asking this government again. We are tired of the ineptitude. Again, the ineptitude and the incompetency. It's time for us to grow our big boy pants up. Go and sit in the international community and tell them that Gambia is open for business. We put the right people in office. I'm not saying when I say competence here or when I say smartness, it's not only book smart. There are some Gambians, they would like to tout their O-level results or how good they were, forgetting that even Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college, or Steve Jobs dropped out of college, or we have seen the likes of Senegal where some of these wrestlers even never graduated from first grade, but they are out there hiring accountants and making money. Sometimes it's not about the education. Sometimes does the person possess the individual skills to harness it and affect change in a society. That's what's most important. But I'm just tired of the hiding. Come out and talk to the Gambian people. That's what we ask for. That's what we voted for. The era of silence is over. Thank you.